First creation and fall of man, education of Mary and First creation and fall of man, education of Mary and Liz and Zoan, the unity of life, Elihu's lesson, death is a ministry. In Manetho's lesson, after the feast we build with carpenter's tools on the life of Yahshua in the Muslim schools until Lamas explained the meaning of truth. Yahshua reveals sinful ways when they stray from rules. At the feast in Bahar taught equality, and that between Allah and man is unity. Like Yahshua and Barada, we read scrolls sacred, using eternal happiness to clothe the naked. In Egypt, among Gentiles, tremendous works defeat the three temptations to examine your worth. Washing your hands, can't clean karmic dirt. Lying disciples didn't steal the body and spur. Then I left to appear fully materialized before Apollo and the silent brotherhood's eyes. Even in India, I appeared to Eastern sages. Came back to the Americas to save the nations. Living in sin, where should I begin? No brethren, just a dusty book from the monks Tibetan. As the Korean Gospels, I learned those lessons with a Moorish spirit spilling as the circle seven. Holy instructions and warnings to all young men. Marriage instructions, even duties of a husband. Holy instructions for children toward their mom and father's obedience. Holy covenant of nations Asiatic. Holy unity of rich and poor is in the attic. Master servant duty shall become a pleasure. Social duties by the prophet, Allah's treasure. Justice, charity, gratitude, sincere religion. Know thyself, inhale the breath of heaven. Speak the soul of man, reach the wisdom pinnacle. The instability of man is no miracle. In constant weakness, cause knowledge is insufficient. Lower self has the higher self in submission. Inconstancy and weakness, it caused misery. Origin of Asiatic, start of Christianity. After we left the capital and fulfilled prophecy. Fallen sons of daughters, no hate, start loving me, your prophet. Without a rocket, meet you on the soul plane. Higher than Siphon, 7 lines of cocaine. You won't have to do that to hear me speak. Open your heart to the Most High, bump into a sheik. Fez might be red, black, or blue. He might teach you about Bohemian Grove or Olokun. When I left to appear fully materialized before Apollo and the silent brotherhood's eyes. Even in India, I appeared to Eastern sages. Came back to the Americas to save the nations. Living in sin, where should I begin? No brethren, just this dusty book from the monks Tibetan. As the Korean Gospels, I learned those lessons with a Moorish spirit spilling as the circle seven. When I left to appear fully materialized before Apollo and the silent brotherhood's eyes. Even in India, I appeared to Eastern sages. Came back to the Americas to save the nations. Living in sin, where should I begin? No brethren, just this dusty book from the monks Tibetan. As the Korean Gospels, I learned those lessons with a Moorish spirit spilling as the circle seven. I know what dirty Moors, yeah. I know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I'm saying, I know what dirty Moors did, I know what dirty Moors did. I'm going at dirty rappers, lynching dirty Moors too. Hiding literature that Drew wrote to warn you. They claim to make you Muslim and make you sovereign. With paperwork and filings, if he out there robbing. They don't care about his words, throw it out like garbage. Or throw it at you when you're active, not passive. When they wanna talk a bounce like off a trampoline mattress. Treat them like a vamp or a teen actress. Get stamped with the brand like a mean savage. This Inquisition divine, all others average. Millennium Renaissance, heroes in our classes. Fed up with the czar controlling facets. Ask if they heard about Moors, they say no. But Masons, they obviously know. Down the handshakes and rituals with skull and bones. They even know about owls burning in Bohemian Grove. I know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did to Drew Ali. I know what dirty Moors did. Dirty Moors killed Drew. I read the FBI papers on loyal Moors, emergency fund rapers, Moorish literature and divine bylaw changers. Might as well say Drew Ali was born in a manger. Prophet puts poison aside and his food smelled danger. Got me treating every Moor like a stranger. Grand sheep pumpkin, stumbling drunk in their feds. What was proclaimed for every meeting was not read. Some Moors are so active, prophet can't be dead. Thanks Moorish teachers away, I can't be led. Actions speak, then I consider what's said. And what's said was study, then study yourself. honors to the Prophet, noble true Ali. I know what dirty Moors did to true Ali. Everybody wants to be just like true Ali, but nobody wants to care about true Ali. I know what dirty Moors did to true Ali. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did to true Ali. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did to true Ali. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did. I know what dirty Moors did to true Ali. I know what dirty Moors did. Moorish tradition, perpendicular position, no longer in that mummy state. They lied to us, said we got shipped from miles away. But the old Mac heads look just like me. The flow a gift like Patron, St. Maurice. That's charitable, these lands inheritable. Reversion of a state inevitable. So stop the street, I'm on a plane out of your reach, and I ain't talking Delta seats. All metaphysics with a well-blended civics. We caliphs, not lieutenants. This guy was jealous like Musa bin Nusayr. Drew Ali revelation, Luke Moors is here. Displaying the art, Khalifa society, matriarch. Moorish master MC, also a grand sheik. Delectable Negroes, barbecue and the clan meet. See me in my fairs, won't mistake me for black man or colored. Might assume I'm a Masonic brother. Brown chronic lover, either roll or edible supper. Vibrate at a high rate, turn to a dimension jumper. Hit the soul plane, quick build with the prophet. Get back to the earth plane, dismissed on the docket. Magistrate lane and vomit, janitor bring the comment. No bond paid, temple gets a deposit. Sketch not composite, left no witness, left blue on the litmus. Get altitude sickness, so high on your head. Whenever I spit this, I'm the type to forget, so you get no forgiveness. Business is strictly like Eric and Parrish. Moreno is my status if you're speaking in Spanish. Man or manish when I draw from the chalice, looking like the paintings of Arabs. Tiger head rug in the palace, accepting your challenge. Flannel gloves slap since you thought I was average. Carried by 1,000 scarabs over the hot sand. Last name comes from Moors that rule Scots land. Blacker Moors you thought Elizabeth got banned. Drew Ali name known again was not planned. Try to call me Indian, no that will not stand. Forget to say the prayer, now I feel I'm in Copland. Forgot the amethyst, start rubbing on stone shaman. Cause a glitch in the matrix, stop feds from charging. Body frozen walking past, their eyes enlarging. With a ray gun like Marvin Martian. That's all folks when we activate carbon. End it all like arson, or your face on a carton. I'm a Moorish American man, national. 360 degrees is added to my arsenal. Like a carpenter, got me building temples, but mentally noble Jew, I lead the measure and stick your activities. I came here to predicate, changing negativity. Precisely, my purpose is to uplift humanity. So why you mad at me? Cause you know I'm a Moor. 2,000 years with the prophet like I've been here before. Go ahead and diss the prophet cause you're so immature. When justice come knock at your door, bodies will hit the floor. Like a fofo, puzzle your brain just like a jigsaw. Movie cut the head off and did we play ping pong. Looking through the peephole cause you hear the ding dong. I don't sing songs, I'm the champ with no rings on. Concrete jungle gives a fuck about King Kong. I'm ready to go and when I die I scream out yeehaw like Kid John. Cause my last verse would be Islam. What up more, my higher self is keeping me this calm.
Islam Moors. I get one in for Drew Ali, just for the Moors who might not be fully up to date. So I'm going to take some excerpts from Addressing the Misunderstandings of Purpose Concerning Sheikh Sharif Abdul Ali, Noble Drew Ali, the Moorish Divine and National Movement, excerpts from Solar Return Celebration Address, January 1984, by Taj Tariq Bey, with editorial ancillaries included from earlier and later Moors Order of the Round Table, orientation, law, history, and culture classes. Why do these Negroes want to stay black and die? Yeah, don't forget, if you have any questions, put them in all caps. Well, the Negroes want to stay black and die because they don't know about Noble Drew Ali. And they don't know about Noble Drew Ali because none of their Negro leaders told them. All their Negro leaders played games like he's some religious, crystal ball, fake prophet and all that stuff. They didn't give him his honors. So once you don't honor the prophets, you suffer. It's that simple. It's not rocket science. So the people are suffering for a lack of knowledge about their prophet and the great works that he did in the 1920s to save them. And if their leaders had any honor, they would, instead of talking about Kudro as ego and mad at Kudro, they should probably go talk to some of these traitors out here who haven't even brought up Noble Drew Ali to them, instead of going crazy at active Moors. This is page 23. Newly awakened Moors. This is for the fetuses out there. Many newly awakened Moors, and some already conscious Moors, may, from time to time, inadvertently find themselves placed amongst unwelcoming, exploitive, opportunistic, or cliquish Moors. Keep in mind, the negative conditions and dead culture of servitude, mental slavery, from which we all have come, who have suffered under European colonial psychological engineering and suppression. These untoward and discomforting acts are not the norm of true Science Temple culture. There are some uncultured Moors who have not applied some of the ethical principles taught by Noble Drew Ali. They have carried with them or brought the old black codes practices from their servitude indoctrinations into the Moorish movement with them. Some have not yet purged themselves of those behaviors. Beware that such acts or practices are not the true teachings or programs of the Moorish temples as presented to the Moors by the Prophet. Unity, love, tolerance, and progress are primal aspects of the mission and are primal to the culture of the Moorish movement. This is why ethical instructions are included as part of instructions in the divine and national orientations, as they are often given in Sunday school commentaries. The above stated moral principles also apply to all of the Europeans who have come among the Moors. Some Europeans may oftentimes pretend not to know the true and massively illustrious invocations, connections, and influences made by the Moors, our forefathers, to the founding and initiating of the great Renaissance of Europe during the 14th, 15th, and 16th centuries. Noble Drew Ali mentions this era in his Message to America document. Study it for yourselves. This leads to the references made by Noble Drew Ali in his documented Message to America, where he states the following: "It is a sad weakness in us, after all, to oppose our fellow men for their religious beliefs, and if there are angels who record the sorrows of men as well as their sins, they certainly know how many and deep are the useless sorrows that sprang forth from such opposition. Possibly love and time will cancel our ancient hatreds in this regard and prove that in mankind tolerance is better than unwarranted opposition. In connection with our religious beliefs, we must promote economic security. The preaching of economic security among us is by no means as widespread and intensive as the circumstances demand. No other one thing is more needed among us at this time than greater economic power, better positions for our men and women, more business employment for our boys and girls, and bigger incomes will follow our economic security. We shall be secure in nothing until we have economic power. A beggar nation cannot develop the highest in them, nor can they attain a genuine enjoyment of the spiritualities of life. And so, with that being said, we make particular reminding notes of the foregoing acts exposing the constitutionally undermining subversives on both sides of the nation, Moors and Europeans, concerning this movement. In its past and present plausible state of our social and political affairs, all parties in this society in truth must confess, support, enforce, and uplift our free national constitution, the supreme law of the land. We must declare one free national name. Where is the Moroccan Empire? Northwest Amexem. Where is Northwest Amexem? North America. Those who know law know that lex et santio sancta jubens honesta e prohibens contraria. This is a Moorish Latin phrase in jurisprudence that means law is a sacred sanction, commanding what is right and prohibiting the contrary. Question: are we aliens allowed to work? I want to correct my social to reflect my status. First of all, we're not aliens. Second of all, that's their social. So until your mindset is clear that we're not anything except Moors, as soon as you start saying that we're aliens and Anunnaki and we start talking about all this other stuff that you're never going to be able to pull out identification and show that you're in error. And then as soon as you see all these different instruments that these people created and you start calling it mine, you're in error because that's not yours. So the idea, for example, Moors who prior to maybe 2006, even some jurisdictions after 2006, the idea was you proclaim your nationality, you get your paperwork. You take your paperwork and you go to the county recorder's office. You file your paperwork on the county recorder in the county recorder's office. Once you file your paperwork at the county recorder, they're going to stamp your paper with a number, which verifies that you have declared your nationality, and it's filed. You would take that paperwork and then you would go to all these different places where you have ID and you would present that, and because it's stamped by the county clerk, they're going to go with it, no questions asked, no issues whatsoever. And then they're going to change all of your documents. That's how it used to be. It's not like that anymore because traders got that blocked because they wanted to change the social so they can go do BS with it, and change the license so they can go do BS with it, and change passport and change all these instruments to their free national name and then still be niggers even though they have a free national name on the license and all that stuff. So that stuff got blocked to the point where you can't even file anything in the county in many of these jurisdictions now. Even if there's a county recorder's office, they're not taking your paper. They're not accepting it. Right? And they're not accepting it because, like Drew Ali said, your own is your problem. Because obviously everything was good because the Europeans who were working at these county recorder's office were taking your papers and filing it on the county level, so you didn't have to go and, you know, put everybody on notice of your proclamation. The going to the whole idea of getting your paperwork and then sending it to the 7 locations and all that stuff is because they shut down the county. So you had to put them on notice another way. Otherwise, the stuff's on the county, that's the record. All you need to do is show the paper. The number's on there that it's in the county, and they're going to go with everything that's on that paper because the county clerk is an official office. That's not somebody hired to do that. The county clerk is an elected position. The county clerk is on the level of sheriff and everybody else who, quote unquote, deals with the law. Right? So in this day and time, if you're talking about going to them to change something or whatever, out here, they say, well, no, we're not accepting that. We need to see a court paper that says you changed your thing. We need to see some form from the country or the state or whoever to say that you changed your name. We're not just going with some paper that you come and show us. So you're going to have some issues getting socials changed and all that stuff. But in certain jurisdictions, you're able to do that. And you'll just have to find out what jurisdictions those are that you can do that, because, you know, we're not there. Right? Hopefully that was clear. Page 27. If you have any questions, just put it in the chat in all caps. Thoroughly read, analyze, and etymologically study in word by world history and in law Prophet Noble Drew Ali's historical documents, which are entitled Divine Warning by the Prophet for the Nations, Prophet Makes a Plea to the Nation, and Moorish Leaders' Historical Message to America. There's more, but those are 3 key ones. And you can get those on rvbaypublications.com, download as PDF or something. Don't forget that Noble Drew Ali said to the Moors, the half has not been told. If I told you everything, you would go back to sleep. More studies about world history will enhance your learning and give you more insights into the modern day Moorish movement. Always consider the time period in which Drew Ali did his work. He had to use angular methods, sometimes to get through to us. Do not be deceived by the commonly propagated tunnel vision thinking methods and practices which are common in our communities. They are more often than not the restricting designs of the colonial controlled ways of dispensing history. Slaveholders often teach history from the perspective of totally separating the histories and cultural disciplines of people and nations. The facts are that there has always been a correlation and political evolution of them all, and can be traced to a common source. Remember, the Moabites, Moors, the founders of civilization, inhabited the whole planet, not just 2 or 3 continents. So when we say study, 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 and people get mad because they just want to be given stuff, the whole point of study, study, study is so that you can get out of the commonly propagated tunnel vision thinking methods that have been placed on us when we were in our dead state. So when you get into more science, you can't have tunnel vision. It's impossible to have tunnel vision when you have all the sciences at your disposal. And if you see people who have tunnel vision, Like, for example, people have this tunnel vision that Noble Drew Ali, Moorish Science Temple, and the religious corporation, and that's it. And that's where they go. As soon as they think Noble Drew Ali, that's how they're thinking. Right? When Moorish Divine and National Movement isn't mentioned, Moorish Holy Temple of Science isn't mentioned, Moorish Nation isn't mentioned, Moorish Empire isn't mentioned, just Noble Drew Ali, Moorish Science Temple, that's it. That's tunnel vision. Right? Another aspect of tunnel vision is they found out that there are more and they want a nationality card tomorrow. That's tunnel vision. This is bigger than nationality card. This is bigger than Moorish plates. This is bigger than change social and change the name on a license or whatever. This is way bigger than all that. All those things are tunnel vision. So if your arrow is pointing in the direction of nationality card when you come into this information, you're gonna miss the target. Because your bow has no string. Because you're not looking at it in its full perspective. And you can't look at it from its full perspective because you're a fetus. And you just came yesterday, and you should go in the corner, go sit down, pile some books around you, and go study. Go bury yourself in some books for a few years. Like we say all the time, the example that we bring up is the Moor Tallahassee El Bay. Brother Tallahassee El Bay came into this information, and it was probably I still don't think he has a nationality card, and he's been in this probably like 7 years, and he still doesn't have a nationality card. But he's Tallahassee El Bay though, and he's not letting anybody tell him that he's other than Tallahassee El Bay. But he doesn't even have a nationality card. And he has a job and all that stuff, but he doesn't even have a nationality card. Right? Because he didn't get caught up in the tunnel vision that this is about a nationality card. He got up in the ocean mindset. That this is vast. This is not a cup of water from the ocean. This is the ocean. And if this is the ocean, then you have lots of swimming to do or whatever before you start talking about land whole. Right? With that in mind, note that within the three foresaid historical documents, but not limited to them, one can unerringly be apprised of the informed about the Moorish divine and national movement of the world, and realize the true nature and character of its cause, purpose, and mission. Through studying them intently, one can be well instructed and authoritatively directed upon the true, functional, and intended path of the movement. The true and workable purpose of the mission is clearly stated in the Prophet's own words. This is more than enough information than any scholar needs to really understand the movement. Any seasoned or new member of the Moorish nation is thereby given a solid foundation upon which to base his or her studies, supports, actions, dedications, and associations. It is the issue of certain indispensable principles which are to be preserved and maintained. These are exclusive to, not to be confused with, nor owned by any single or numbered organizations or institutions, for they are universal in character, which is why Noble Drew Ali used the term Rotarian complexion in regards to the Moorish movement. However, the Moorish Holy Temples of Science and the Moorish Science Temples of America are founded for that cause and reason. So the Moorish Holy Temple of Science and the Moorish Science Temple of America of Americas are founded for the cause and reason of a Rotarian complexion, which means uplifting fallen humanity, which means you're supposed to look out for those who don't have this info, which means you're supposed to bend over backwards to accommodate those who don't have this info and make sure that they get this info, because the charge is against Moors to teach the truth about the nationality and the birthrights to our people who are misclassified as Negro, Black, Colored, African, whatever nation, fake nation that they're claiming, whatever organization that they're claiming, whatever position they're taking that has nothing to do with Moors, that's a fiction. And they have to be brought up to the level of a thinking, sentient being. Because right now our people are beasts of the field. Only a beast is going to sit there and let some foreigner stick them with some stuff that they don't even know what's in that, but they're rolling up their sleeve. Only a beast is going to go on TV with a bunch of other beasts and start putting the call out for our people to go line up, go sign up, to go get poked by some foreigner who we already know has eugenics program and all that stuff to kill us, eugenics program to make us infertile, eugenics program to stop us from seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and just go with, well, the superstar, whoever said that it's safe, and then when you go check them, they have the fake syringe that they're getting shots with. The retractable needle and stuff like that. So be careful who you listen to, because some of your own, like Noble Drew Ali told you, are going to put you right back into slavery. And then we just saw DMX family came out and said he didn't have no heart attack because of some crack overdose and all that stuff. And then you have the other lady who, she was working for U.S. Corpse and all that stuff. She went and got the stuff, and then next day she wasn't feeling good, and next day she transitioned. Because it's an experiment going on right now. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. But our people are convinced that these people know what they're doing. And they're convinced that they know what they're doing because their own has told them, oh yeah, they know what they're doing. They're the doctors and they're the whatever. Well, if they're a doctor and they have a Hippocratic oath, and you think that has to do with Hippocrates, not hypocrisy, you have mental problems. And you still haven't figured it out yet. Going back to that thing about our people being beasts of the field to these people. Experimental, guinea camel, guinea pig, guinea rat, guinea mouse, guinea bat, guinea whatever. Our people are that. And we will remain that once we're in this dead status. What was crack? Crack was an experiment. If you've been watching, More put me on to Snowfall. How the crack got into LA and all that. Right? Our own. And some Europeans, oh, the CIA and the whatever. No, it was some dumb nigger that CIA was able to coerce to go in there and do BS. Same thing anywhere else. Right? Guns getting in our community. You don't got no boats and all that stuff to bring any crates of guns anywhere. All they got to do is find some dumb nigger. And guess what he's going to do? Sell out the whole community. He's not going to say, well, I don't think we should be doing this because this might cause problems in our community. No, they're riding because they want to be Scarface. And then they never check the end of the movie. You get shot up just like everybody else. Right? The more one studies world history and the cosmological-oriented cultures and philosophies of our foremothers and forefathers, the clearer one's concepts, precepts, and reasoning becomes. Let me read that again. The more one studies world history and the cosmological-oriented cultures and philosophies of our foremothers and forefathers, the clearer one's concepts, precepts, and reasoning becomes. So you're not going to get this if you're not studying. You're not going to get this if you're waiting to be told what this is. You're not going to get it. You have to go study in order for your concepts, precepts, and reasoning to be clear. If you're not studying, then you're going to be clouded. You're going to always be looking through fog. Want to know how come you can't see stuff? How come you don't get it? How come? Because you're not studying in order to clear the fog. The only way that the fog is going to be cleared, and we're foggy. Don't think that because we got turbans and fezzes on that, eyes wide open, that means you can see. Your eyes wide open because it's goddamn foggy out there and you can't see shit. That's why your eyes wide open. You get caught up that eyes wide open means you can see. You can't see. You just came into this yesterday. What are you seeing? You can't see anything. That's like Neo. How come my eyes hurt? Because you never used them before. What do you mean? I'm an adult. What do you mean I never used my eyes before? What the hell are you talking about? Never used my eyes before? I'm an adult? Yeah, never used your eyes before. You never used your limbs before. We got to strap you onto this bed and we got to activate all your muscles. Because you've been swimming in water for the past 30 years. You even know you're swimming in water. You thought everything's cool. We're Negroes, blacks, and coloreds and all that stuff. We're African. We're Indians, and we got this stuff locked down because, the Dawes rolls said that we're Indians and all that stuff. You come into more science, the whole new world opens up to you. A world that you didn't even perceive. Thus, by comparative thinking and analysis, a clearer understanding is gained about the Moorish movement in North America and of the great legacy left to us and for us by our prophet. One will also undoubtedly recognize that the Moorish movement belongs to we the people. It is therefore our sacred and political responsibility to declare, to proclaim, and to make publicly known our true attributes, our names, our nationality, and to pledge our true and solemn allegiance to the same. Right? It is therefore our sacred, right, divine, and political, national responsibility to declare, to proclaim, and to make publicly known our true attributes, our names and our nationality, and to pledge our true and solemn allegiance to those same attributes, those same names, and that same nationality. So those people have an oath, we have a pledge. And our pledge is to honor our foremothers and forefathers. Those people have an oath, we have a covenant. And our covenant is to honor our foremothers and forefathers and look at our brothers and our sisters. Look at our brothers and our sisters as one with us. With a solid background of knowledge about the directives in the above stated Moorish documents and literature, the people can begin a realistic process to reform themselves. You who are sincere, being specific, you who are sincere will find that your acts, your obligations, and your connections to your Moorish divine and national movement will be firm, sure, and unshakable. And to this great humanitarian cause, honorable Moors have in the past and will in the future pledge their honor, pledge their dedication, pledge their activities, and pledge their social and political allegiance to the cause. So this is about being married to the cause. Not married to that guy over there because you like him and he teaches good and all that stuff. Not married to the flag. Not married to the fez. Not married to stuff that you think have something to do with the Moorish movement. The cause. And the cause, like we said before, is uplifting our people. Making sure our people know the truth about their nationality and birthrights, because every man is unto himself a priest. And if you're a priest, then you better administer some gospel on these people. If you know you're not Negro, black, colored, you better be telling somebody. Whether they accept it or not, that's not even the point. The point has to be that they can't say they weren't told. They can't be like us and say, well, I didn't know. I didn't know that I was a Moor and all that stuff, because no Moor never came to me and said that I'm a Moor. They can't say that. Everywhere they go, they should be seeing Moors speaking up and telling them the truth about their nationality, their birthrights, telling them about their prophet, telling them about everything Moorish. Because we know about all the other BS already. We don't need to know any more BS. Let's know some real info now. And the only real info left is what our people don't know, which is the truth about their nationality and their birthrights. And we know that's what they don't know, because all of them call themselves black and all this other BS. That has nothing to do with anything. If you have any questions, just put those in the chat. Page 29. European colonists occupying our land will and do lie, cheat, extort, suppress, and steal to maintain the foul conditions needed by them to promote mental and economic slavery. They live off our virtues. Therefore, their callous and disingenuous acts are always at work in secret and in the open. Active Moors, by reason of scholarship, which means studying. Active Moors, by reason of scholarship, which means studying. Active Moors, by reason of scholarship and progressive development, will and must work to counter and eliminate the colorable stagnation and sellout natured corruption that has from time to time slowed down, interfered with, and plagued the Moorish divine and national movement. And again, this was my charge. My charge was to counter and eliminate the colorable stagnation and sellout natured corruption that has been involved in this, because we know that it's our own. We're in turbans and fezzes sometimes that sold this out. The book we're reading from is Addressing Misunderstandings of the Purpose Concerning Sheikh Sharif Abdul Ali, Noble Jew Ali, the Moorish Divine and National Movement. You can get that at rvbaypublications.com. However, the well-read and dedicated Moors among us know that a noble and principled cause inspires and creates institutions, inspiring men to bring them into existence. Institutions don't create the divine. Institutions don't create the cause, which moves them to animation, action, or existence. Institutions do not create the cause. Institutions do not create the cause which moves men to animation, action, or existence. Surely, the divine and national allodial character of the Moorish movement is everlasting, as by nature's inheritance, the allodial quest for freedom resides in the very nature of the human spirit. The book is called Addressing Misunderstandings of Purpose Concerning Sheikh Sharif Abdul Ali, Noble Jew Ali, the Moorish Divine and National Movement, which you can get on rvbaypublications.com. What you should really be doing is going there and getting every book off there. And then go to Khalifa Media and get every book off there. And then go to moorishdirectory.com and download every PDF that they have on there. Just so you have it. National and divine. If you have any questions, put it in the chat in all caps. Any questions. Many studied Moors seeking to help in the movement, but being stagnated by some of the negative and non-progressive persons holding seats of authority, have developed expanded informational approaches to help facilitate solving some of the social, political, and economic problems facing the nation. There were, in the past, as there are in the present, intelligent, positive, and progressive Moors who are dedicated to the cause of uplifting fallen humanity. And as fate would have it, to the contrary, many others were seeking to capitalize on the weakness and naivety which is evident among some of our people. Some sought out positions of power and authority in the movement for economic reasons only. The motives of some included deliberately hiding and nullifying the national, economic, scholastic, and political application side of the Moorish movement. Logically, without a just and proper government structure and with appropriate participatory civic activities, the proper and inherited benefits of the reclamation of the Moorish nationality and birthrights can never be properly realized and enjoyed. The motives of some included deliberately hiding and nullifying the national, economic, scholastic, and political application side of the Moorish movement. Logically, without a just and proper government structure and with appropriate participatory civic activities, the proper and inherited benefits of the reclamation of the Moorish nationality and birthrights can never be properly realized and enjoyed. Thus, the people are misled by such leaders. Thus, the people misled by such leaders would continue to lack true economic or political security. This negative proposition is why those who oppose Noble Drew Ali's universal Moorish movement, past and present, usually feign ignorance about or are non-supportive of the original civic nature and Rotarian complexion of the Moorish movement. Some will even condemn or slander those active Moors who are working to protect the unalienable and substantive political rights of all Moorish Americans. Some will even condemn or slander those active Moors who are working to protect the unalienable and substantive political rights of all Moorish Americans. If one studies the universal principles, reasons, proper structure, and operations of national and international governments, one can quickly surmise who among us are constitutionally inept. That's why I talk how I talk. Because in one sentence, I can quickly surmise who among us are constitutionally inept and shouldn't be talking. They shouldn't be making any suggestions of what we should do, what we should study, or whatever, because they're inept. From a mile away, we can see these people, that they're inept. And then what do? Do they STFU and go study? No. They want to debate something. As if they can debate something. What are you debating? Fetus? What are you debating? Toddler? You debating something? What's a toddler debating? What's a toddler going in the ring talk about MMA? They want to win the belt. Measuring by principles will show where opposition and deceptions initiated against the people's right has root or among whom it exists. Keep in mind that works and efforts made toward freeing a suppressed people from usurpation, color of law, false and reconstructed history will be met with tyrannical religious dogma, brand appellatives, and designed confusion. Keep in mind, this is for all you new people who think, yeah, we're down with the Moorish movement and all that stuff. Oh yeah? All right. Keep in mind, all these new people who you come in with a full head of steam and in 6 months you're nowhere to be found. You come in here with your head down running 100 miles an hour. And don't even realize that you're running toward a cliff until you get to the edge. Keep in mind that works and efforts made toward freeing a suppressed people, which is our job, from usurpation, color of law, false and reconstructed history, etc., will be met with tyrannical religious dogma, will be met with brand appellatives, and will be met with the most important thing that they're going to have against you is designed confusion. The most important thing that they're going to use in order to deter you from this is designed confusion. What do you mean designed confusion? Designed confusion like locking up Rashad Bay and Moreno Bay to make you think that, oh, those Moors, I don't want to be a Moor, they lock Moors up. Or just go on our videos and go listen to or not listen, go read all of the comments. See how some of the stuff that these trolls say. That praise Allah that we were born with the coat of male skin. Because these people talk some stuff to make you give up on the Moorish movement. These people take it so low in order to try to deter people. But then the other side of it is, the people who get deterred, we couldn't use them anyways. I'm glad that they decided to leave, because they would have been useless anyways. If somebody's going to tell you, Noble Drew Ali, he plagiarized the Aquarian Gospel and he's not even Noble Drew Ali. His name is Thomas Drew and he was a circus magician and all that stuff. You say, oh my God, I can't believe he was a circus magician. I don't want nothing to do with this. Yeah, we definitely don't want you around here. Keep walking in that direction, going that way. We definitely don't want you in this, because you're going to be useless. You're going to serve no purpose whatsoever. Truth analodial thinking directly and indirectly affects institutionalized fraud and sheds light upon the ill-gotten profits of the wardship tenure controllers. Knowledge being given to the natural people weakens the usurped political powers of those thieves who have benefited from the status quo social engineering conditioning. Knowledge, not trust. Knowledge, not ID cards. Knowledge, not Moorish plates. Knowledge, not fezzes and turbans. Knowledge being given to the natural people weakens the usurped political powers of those thieves who have benefited from the status quo social engineering conditioning. The Moorish nationality and its co-joined empowering issues presents a formidable threat to the European slaveholders. It also begins to neutralize the pseudo-religious mind-numbing effectiveness of their Negro-bred overseers alike. So don't be surprised that many are not happy about the Moorish movement. Be aware of Inquisition colonial strategies. Study the Spanish Inquisition and the influences it had on Western world politics. This has much to do with the variables involving the negative history surrounding the Moorish divine and national movement. This will enable one to work for the positive side of the movement and recognize those who would seize upon the ignorance of the people. Such persons will often misuse the presentment of alleged religious or government nation activities without teaching of the original constitutional functions of them. They will also avoid teaching about contractual natures of the same. Such misrepresentations serve the greed and opportunistic intent of such persons for satisfying their vanity or selfish gain, whether it be for finance or for other forms of benefit or power. Peace and love to all the Moors worldwide. Honors to the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Honors to all the Els and Bays, Days, Als, and Alis. Honors to all the mothers. Peace and love to all. Islam.